When I first started to gain consciousness around the normal age of 12, childlike curiosity of experience gradually transformed into dangerous ambition, which then became this intense pressure to make this experience as vibrant and as extraordinary as possible, to live up to my own expectations. Because I never wanted to live like anyone that I knew. I couldn't connect with the automatic way of living everyone around me seemed to enjoy, and I felt wrong for not being able to enjoy it with them. Every time I listened to anyone's guidance or advice, I felt more alone. I remember how one night after school, I was literally trembling in fear on my mom's bed. It was a usual weekday afternoon, and I was staring at the ceiling in tears, and I dropped a bomb. "What are we all waiting for, Mom?" And I believe this was the first time I sat down with her to overwhelm her with questions she had never asked or had answers to. It has always multiplied my anxiety. Any kind of safety around how this reality is constructed was ruined at that moment. It was all coincidental, spontaneous and hilarious in the most dark humor way possible. It felt like anyone who laughed at the joke I was missing out on accepted the reality and used joy to distract themselves from how horrible it feels to not live on purpose. My mom had no idea what I was even saying. This was when I began to realize I will have to answer these questions on my own, and I gained responsibility that night. Having no clue how long it would take me to realize chasing fulfillment is the typical mistake lost philosophers make in the beginning, and clearly a normal step on the road to potential peace. At least that's what I tell myself now, trying to see meaning in all these years spent pondering, just to realize no one has the answer and real fulfillment is somewhere where no one ever looks and probably closer than we may think. What I was trying to portray was just my frustration with the repeated actions we automatically do every day. Their relevance and what is even happening right now, like the usual existential anxiety things that are going through a child's mind. Like, how and why did they all accept the lack of meaning in things that are far from what their heart was really built for? I was having my first conversation with God, and I didn't know about it then. I knew I had to become responsible of where my choices were taking me, especially that no one was leading me anywhere I wanted to go. So I went where no one I knew has ever been. I stopped going to school at 15 and graduated early with no teachers, except maybe Sadhguru lectures, Jay Shetty podcasts, or rappers' interviews. I left behind everything that never really fulfilled me, but was everything that I knew. Maybe that sounds maximalist and dramatic, but I spent most of my teenage years answering questions at home. And I genuinely didn't see any other option. This was the least miserable way to find out why nothing in life seemed to make any sense. And you know what? It still doesn't. Now I'm 18. Everything that you know about me is based on how deeply I think and what parts of my vulnerable nature I allow you to see. And because I've spent so much time solely focused on the pursuit of happiness, it seems like all these questions are answered now. Well, no. At least I realized that I don't know anything, and at most, I found God that I still can't define. While trying to break through and bring back the curiosity of simple experience, I've crafted several concepts that seemed to connect to my heart. Everyone calls them hobbies or things you do on the side. At least that's what I was advised to do with them, but for me there was no main road other than the things that spoke directly to my heart. No, and seriously, no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't prioritize anything else than just the things that actually made me feel. That's why I've earned the habit of overindulging in things that are extensions of my soul, while learning to perfect them, beating myself up for never being perfect enough, and exhausting my passion in the process. The typical story you hear about every single artistic pursuit turned into business. Well, for me, it was never strictly about business or what career path or ideal partner was going to take care of me for the rest of my life or anxiety around it. It was always about how can I nurture a craft, a specific skill that will fill my heart and stop me from the need to distract myself from overwhelming depth of existence. I wanted to stop asking questions and just experience something true for once. That was my definition of real purpose, and I was looking for it. Oh, when Nietzsche said something like, every beautiful surface comes with terrifying depth? Well, hearing that finally validated the intensity of my inner battles. Well, I was trying to swim through brutal stoicism that I guess I gained through blue pill, red pill videos. And I kept drowning in nihilism, so that didn't really help. That phrase just provided me the idea of finding meaning in suffering, which was inevitable either way, so I could as well create on it. And since I was always looking for something greater, to become, to experience something special and powerful, to achieve something so unique that would change the narrative of understanding what unique is, and just wanted to leave a meaningful mark in history, I've essentially been chasing power and control. Whether it's a sense of having my shit together or this stability being a manifestation of my relaxed and organized mind that I was chasing, I wanted to learn how to control it finally. Either way, I was just chasing power. Through that, I thought I would achieve fulfillment. And as much as these philosophies validated the terrifying depth of my mind by explaining it as the price you pay for the views you can generate with it, I still had to deal with the responsibility of creating meaning to reach this fulfillment. So I spent years working towards goals that I've created, and I forcefully fueled them with as much meaning as I could scrape from my numb and exhausted soul. I learned that with time you can convince your body to generate energy and passion, just like when you get a rush of energy after forcing yourself to do hard things at the gym, when you feel drained and can't get out of bed. You just do it anyway and you get a rush of energy after. Chasing power and control can be used to your advantage when you direct it at your mind and prioritize perfecting how present it can become in this mind-generated meaning. And so you break through the process of creating meaning by forcing yourself to feel how living in it feels, and you get yourself back. That's a hypothesis though. I choose to believe I'm on the right path even when it doesn't feel aligned or purposeful at all. Even when the process of generating meaning and improving everything at once erased every bit of enthusiasm and hope, I still show up. That's a lesson on loyalty. Loyalty to my heart and the choices I've made when I knew anything else would just be cheating and meant a miserable existence. We generally prize being calm and collected and demonize being out of control and confused. Well, I'm confessing right now. I'm doing everything I wrote down in my journal a few years ago, and I still wake up in the morning craving to fill the same void. This could as well be a glamorous model days in life, a week in my life as a content creator video, but this isn't as cute. I could be portraying my journey to fulfillment as this, persistent pursuit of a strong-minded, calm person who trusts every twist and turn. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm terrified. I'm scraping for meaning in my everyday routines that I've built to maintain progress in big goals that faded in their purposefulness over time. Nothing seems to bring me joy and satisfaction anymore, no matter how big of a win I accomplish or how many people congratulate me on the outside success. And this time, this depth feels especially challenging because this time I'm putting in the most amount of effort and intentionality. I've been very persistent and loyal to my goals, so much so that they lost their vibrancy. Still loyal to looking for meaning and showing up no matter how ugly and unmotivating the present feels. And yet it is met with the most amount of resistance, stagnancy, doubt, and anxiety. Every day melts together in a loop of me hiking up the hill, feeling better for a moment, not hitting any kind of real satisfaction, and rolling down miserably, just to do it all over again tomorrow. And I could romanticize the work and healthy routine as the uncomfortable part of the journey to success. But is this combination of Dr. Huberman-approved habits really healthy if it doesn't fill my heart but brings up the void even more? What would fill my heart? What would make me forget about wanting to go home, That's a very uncomfortable question because it forces me to find hope and do it again and again. Like I always create meaning just to survive and keep myself sane. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe uncertainty is teaching me to recognize a deeper truth, but I don't know how much deeper it can get before I can finally float to the surface and live, I'm sharing this moment in my life with you to show that it has gotten better before, and worse, and it will again. And no matter how much meaning you've generated and how much of it doesn't make any sense anymore, I want us to keep putting one leg after the other, because there was never a time it has made any sense. All we can do is keep showing up to the visions our hearts felt connected to, And the time will pass anyway, and I know that these twists and turns are shaped like circles, and they come around and loop, leaving us to the choice of repeating the same cycle or going up the evolutionary spiral eventually by generating more powerful meaning, creating more purpose. You will never break through a purposeless loop by staying in the same place or questioning your previously nurtured meaning. Stay focused and loyal to the path that seems like the most stable ground for your next step, and use your craving to feel powerful in order to master and control your mind. Maybe that's how we will feel fulfilled, just by waking up in the morning one day. Maybe that day is tomorrow.